Today, Baba is telling us, or rather reminding us, that our title is We Are World Transformers. Yes? Do you think that? So, Baba has given us this awareness that Baba is teaching us or giving us sustenance so that we can become instruments for world transformation, because it is the thoughts, words, and deeds of an individual that affect the collective consciousness of the world. And what is this world? This world is a product of our collective consciousness. So, Baba has come and Baba is teaching us, educating us, teaching us Raj Yoga so that we can fill ourselves with spiritual strength through yoga. And why is Baba doing all this? Not just to benefit me, but because Baba knows that if one soul is in a higher, consciousness, then my thoughts, my words, my actions will also influence others around me. So I am the beneficiary, but I am also the instrument for world transformation. Do you think like that? Yes. So Baba says that we are transformers of the world. Now Baba today says that in order to maintain this act or maintain this role of being a world transformer, we have to be careful to not get influenced by other people's mistakes. Yes, in the world we say that two wrongs do not make a right. But we say that, but if we check our actions, we believe that two wrongs make a right. Because when somebody does something wrong and we also do something wrong in reaction to that, then we say that I did it because I wanted to correct that person. For example, if somebody lied to you, then you shouted at them, you got angry. So then what did you do? They lied, they made one mistake, and you got angry, you made another mistake. But then, people say very proudly that I can handle everything, but I cannot handle lies. And when somebody lies, I get very angry. But then, does your anger stop the other person from lying? No. So what did you correct? You didn't correct anything, but you only added to the mistake. And this is how we are operating in the world. And now it's been many births. So you see, ever since Copper Age, the soul comes under the influence of what we call Ravan Mat. So you see, lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed have their own logic. Yes, and that logic is called Ravan Mat, the directions of Ravan. So what is the logic of anger? I am getting angry so that things get corrected. Yes, what is the logic of lust? That lust is a physical need. as if one would die without lust, so that is the logic of lust. Everybody says it's a biological need. And did you ever come across a news where somebody died because they didn't get lust, so they didn't get sensual pleasure? Did somebody die because of that? No. So that's not a need. So that's just a sanskar. But people say it's a biological need. What are biological needs? Biological needs are food, air, water, shelter. Lust is not a biological need, but then the conditioning of Ravan is such, or the way we are conditioned to think from the copper age, because from the copper age Ravan enters. Ravan means the vices enter the picture, enter the drama, and then vices have their own strange logic, and that logic is perpetrated into the society by vicious people. So and who are vicious people? Everybody is vicious. Our parents are vicious. So everybody is full of vices, right? So our teachers are vicious. So when we study in school, when we live in the family, so all these vicious logic, it enters us. So then what is the logic of ego? Ego tells you are protecting your self-respect. But then can you protect your self-respect by insulting somebody or feeling insulted? No, self-respect is a whole different story. So self-respect is respecting yourself. So knowing yourself and respecting yourself for who you are. And it has got nothing to do with the other person. How they talk to you, how they behave with you has got nothing to do with your self-respect. Nobody can take away your self-respect, because self-respect is you respecting yourself. And how can anybody take that away? But then, we are just, we are feeling insulted and insulting people because we think we are fighting for our self-respect. But self-respect is knowing yourself and believing in yourself, even when nobody believes in you. Even if everybody gives you a very derogatory label, doesn't matter. You are who you are anyway, yes? And what is arrogance? Feeling valuable because somebody says you're valuable. That is arrogance. So arrogance and so ego, arrogance, these tell you that your value, your worth, your self-esteem depends on external factors. How people perceive you, or how they talk about you or think about you, or so, but that is not true. You are who you are, even if nobody knows it. And you are not who you are not, even if everybody believes it. Yes. So these days, people are into a lot of image creation. So you want to project yourself as somebody you are not, because people think it's not important who I am, but what's important is how I'm perceived. So you put in all your time, energy, effort, money into creating a perception of yourself, which is not you. So that is called image creation. But then, does image creation change your experience of life? No. You will feel every second of the day who you are inside. Yes, and even if 10 people are showering praises on you for 10 minutes, you will feel those praises for 10 minutes. But what happens in the 11th minute? You're back to feeling bad and miserable the way you are. So Shri Baba says that all this is Ravan Mat, you know, looking good, not being good. So Ravan says, what is the need to make so much effort to be good? Just look good now. Just dress yourself up. Don't clean your heart, just dress yourself up. So this is Ravan Mat. So everything, you know, Ravan justifies lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. And people think, you know, attachment is the way to be. And people think that when there are other people who are attached to you and you are attached to them, then it is a sign of happiness. So attachment gives you happiness, and there's the idea of a happy family. But then does attachment give you happiness or make you more vulnerable to sorrow? Because you cling on to your object of attachment, and the moment they don't behave according to how you want them to behave, you feel miserable. And if you could calculate how much happiness and how much sorrow you receive because of attachment, the sorrow is much more than the happiness you receive over a whole lifetime. But then, you know, people just think that, you know, we are conditioned to think like that, that when you're very attached, then you feel happy. Yes, and so this is how it is. And then so you outsource your emotional, physical, every kind of responsibility to another soul, and then they handle it, and that is called attachment. So we like that kind of a codependent relationship where you outsource your, you know, emotional and physical and financial and all kinds of needs onto the other person. And then when they fail you, then what happens? So, and people don't fail just because they want to fail you, but they may fail you because of death also. Yes, maybe you're very attached to parents, but parents leave one day. And then what happens? So Baba tells us that attachment is, the logic given for attachment is happiness, but then attachment gives you more sorrow than happiness. So what is the way to be? The way to be is detached and loving. So remember, everybody has to go away and be very loving, receive love, give love, but then don't be dependent. Understand that, you know, everybody has to go away one day, or you will go away before them, whatever. So this is, so these are the logic of, you know, vices. And then the strangest logic is of anger, and then you think that you're correcting everything through anger, but you're not. If you are getting angry in a situation, then you are causing more damage to the situation than correcting it. So Shri Baba says that anybody makes a mistake, you don't make a mistake because they made a mistake. And you must know that making a mistake of action and making a mistake of reacting in anger is an equal mistake. Yes, somebody stole something, somebody, you know, caused some loss, whatever happened, they made a mistake, and then you got angry, you got irritated, you even did karma, you know, you shouted, you used wrong words, rude words. Then what happened? They made a mistake, you also made a mistake. And two wrongs do not make a right. And what is the right that we want to make? The right is world transformation. So you cannot transform the world like this by justifying your anger because somebody made a mistake. So Shiv Baba says, anybody makes a mistake, use your power to accommodate. Remember the power to accommodate? The power to accommodate has the picture of many rivers coming and flowing into the ocean. And then that ocean doesn't mind. The ocean has such a big heart that it absorbs all of that, dirty water coming from rivers, and it is just as clean as ever. So even if somebody makes a mistake, you have such a big heart that your heart doesn't become unclean because of that. It doesn't affect your feelings, your attitude. So just know that, it is normal for people to make mistakes. Yes. You know what is our problem in life? Our problem is not the reality. Our problem is our expectation. And when you expect that in Kali Yuga nobody would make a mistake, that's such a wrong expectation to have. So according to Gyan, 63 births we have taken in Ravan Rajya. So Satyug Treta is called Ram Rajya, everything is in order and organized and in harmony and purity. And then from the Copper Age, it is Ravan Rajya, full of vices, weaknesses, so chaos. And then in Ravan Rajya, every soul has taken 63 births, or even if they have taken less. So it's in Ravan Rajya. Those who come later, they might have taken less than 63 births, but they have taken birth in Ravan Rajya only. So what do you expect their sanskars to be? Their sanskars would be weak, wouldn't it be? They wouldn't have great sanskars. And everybody, according to those sanskars, they will make mistakes. And it is normal and natural in Kali Yuga to make mistakes. Yes, and you know what? There was one sister and she told me that my husband lies about everything. So I said, okay, so he lies about everything. So what? So I said, no, but why should he lie? So I said, tell me some of his good qualities. He's very nice, like he's cooperative, earns, takes care of the family, everything. So I said, and do you think that if he has 20 qualities, he wouldn't have 2 or 3 bad qualities? He would have something, right? Everybody has something or the other. Nobody is flawless right now. And if you expect somebody to be flawless, that means that you are living in a dream. Because knowledge says that everybody in Kali Yuga has weak sanskars. So why do you expect somebody to not have any problems, not have any weaknesses, not have any... Are you perfect? Are you flawless? Only until you're justifying your flaws and saying that they are because of them. So you are flawless because you justify your flaws and say, I am flawless, it's only because of them that I have these flaws. But otherwise everybody has flaws and everybody is blaming it on the other. So Baba says at this time everybody has flaws, everybody makes mistakes, and it is okay. You use your power of accommodation. And how do you get that power of accommodation? Through knowledge and yoga. Just remember Baba. Baba has such a big heart. And when Baba has such a big heart, then Baba loves us. We are not love worthy right now, are we? If somebody sees us from morning until night and looks at how we think and how we behave, nobody would love us like this. But Baba has such a big heart that he loves us. So can we also not accommodate other people's sanskars? So Baba says, just learn this power of accommodation from Baba. And when somebody makes a mistake, know that it's okay, they made a mistake. And then you don't make a mistake in retaliation. You don't get angry, you don't get upset, you don't get disheartened, you don't become rude. And when you don't do that, then you are becoming that person who stops the vicious cycle. So there is a vicious cycle of mistakes operating in the world. And when you use the power to accommodate and you stop the vicious cycle, they made a mistake, you don't make the mistake of getting angry. You give them good wishes, give them the power to correct and move on. Whether they take that power also, don't turn and look back and check. If they take that power to correct themselves and correct themselves, good for them. You don't think about it. Just give good wishes and move on. So Baba says that when we do this at every step, then we are paving the path towards world transformation. Because the world is waiting to be transformed through my vibrations of peace and love and purity and joy. And I have to keep that vibration intact in me, despite anybody doing what they are doing. So I don't have to make the mistake of becoming negative because somebody else made a mistake. And when I don't make that mistake, I continue to be that agent of change, that angel of change who is going to bring world transformation. Yes. And I'll give you one example. So there's this one Mata, and she told me that when I have to instruct somebody, so I instruct them 3 times with softness and politeness, but when they don't listen 3 times, then I shout and scream. Okay, and then I asked her, how many times do they give you the opportunity to shout and scream? So she said, all day. All day, nobody is listening 3 times when I speak politely, so I am shouting and screaming. So you see, if you do that, if somebody doesn't listen to you and you think that, I've been polite 3 times and I've set that limit, that 4th time I need to shout and it is right for me to shout, and you're shouting, what are you doing? You're just spoiling your sanskar. You are not being the agent of change that Baba wants you to be. And everybody else is just, they are not interested in mending their ways. So even if you shout and scream, if they have to listen at the 7th time, they will listen at the 7th time. So you must understand that don't make a mistake when somebody makes a mistake. And this is how you stop that vicious cycle. And there's somebody who is writing that being a mother, I wish my son should be flawless at certain points. It is not, there is no problem in wishing. There is problem in expecting. Yes, wish everybody to be flawless. But when there is expectation, there is disappointment. Yes, you wish they should be flawless, but don't expect that they should be flawless. When you expect that, then you get disappointed. If you're just wishing good, if they made a mistake, again wish that they would be flawless one day. And they would be. Why wouldn't we? We will all go and become deities, so we will be flawless. But we need hope, we don't need expectation. We need good wishes, we don't need expectations. So don't expect anybody to be flawless, because expectation leads to disappointment. So this is one thing that Baba tells us. And then today Baba is warning us against gossip. Yes. What qualifies as a gossip? So, many people think that discussing somebody discussing one person with another person, and when you're discussing that one person with another person, if you are discussing that which is not true, that is gossip. But Baba tells us that even if you are giving true information about somebody, even that is gossip. Yes. If I am going and telling, if let's say, there is a truth in what I am speaking. Let's say you are every day late for the class, and then I am going and telling a third person that this sister is every day late for the class. It is true, but then what purpose does it serve? I going and telling a third person about a second person is not helping in any way. So even if something is true, why do you have to tell that thing to another person? You see, according to the law, third party information you cannot give to anybody. The law doesn't say that third party information, if true, is you can give it to somebody. Does the law say that? No. Even if it's true, third party information you don't share. And here you see, in the world we believe that if something is true, I have the right to spread it around. So, and what is true and false anyway? Everything is subjective. It's how you look at it. You never know the whole picture. It's impossible. So, it's always subjective. It's your opinion. It's how you saw it. It's how you think it is. Because you see, when you get knowledge, so then you understand that everybody is who they are because of their drama. They are destined to be like that. So you going and discussing somebody else with somebody else, that is a bad idea. And Baba says that when you do that, then what happens is you are creating sin, because when you talk, when you discuss somebody's weakness with a third person, what have you done? You fill that third person's heart with this information. And then what are the vibrations they are sending to them? They are sending all negative vibrations to them. Yes. So Baba says, don't do that. When you're spoiling somebody's heart by sharing somebody's weaknesses with them is not a good idea. And Baba says we shouldn't engage in this gossip. When you have to talk to somebody, just speak in a manner which brings them closer to truth and to Baba. Tell them you are a soul, tell them of their qualities, tell them the truth about the drama, tell them about Baba. There's so much to tell to a soul. And here what are we doing? We are discussing weaknesses of somebody's weaknesses with other people. Now you see, the weaknesses that we are discussing are not the truth, because truth is eternal and no soul is eternally negative or weak. It's just in the moment, it is this phase that they are behaving like this, or they are like this at this moment. But why should we discuss that? Let us always see and think and share and discuss that which we want people to be. Let us not go into who they are right now. And Baba says all of that qualifies as gossip. So Baba says when you have to talk to somebody, just share the knowledge that Baba gives you, nothing else. Nothing else means nothing else. No information about any soul sanskars, what they do, how they behave, how they talk. all of that information is gossip. And maybe while you are discussing their weaknesses, they are working on them and they are getting rid of them, and you are carrying them inside. Yes, it's not the act, it's what you carry inside. So there's a very good story about Buddha. So once Buddha was going with his disciple, and there was on the river bank, there was a lady who was who had fainted, and she was lying on the river bank. And then Buddha thought that this lady has maybe drowned and come to this end of the river bank. So he just carried her and then he left her on the other end. And then the disciple, he was very upset with Buddha. And then they kept walking, and then after some time the disciple said, "You know what, Master, you did something wrong." So he said, "What did I do wrong?" So he said, "We are not allowed to touch a female body, and you just carried her, and that was wrong of you. You touched a female body." And then Buddha said, "Oh, that body, I left that body at the river bank. Why are you carrying her until now?" Yes, so the physical body was left. But then you carrying it in your awareness is a much bigger sin. And Baba says maybe somebody made a mistake, or somebody did something wrong, or you thought that they have this sanskar because, or you interpreted that because of their actions. But maybe that action was one time. And what you are carrying in your awareness is more profound than their act. And then you sharing it with others and spoiling their heart is another kind of sin. So Baba says, don't go into this thing, and always remember, it's not just false information. But even if the information is true, you have no right to discuss anybody's weakness with anybody else. If you are really thoughtful about them, discuss their strengths with them. Even if you discuss somebody's weakness with that person, let's say, I know you have a problem, you have a weakness, but if I just keep pointing out, that is not helping, because you don't have the strength to correct it. That is why you're doing what you're doing. So let me just discuss how powerful a soul you are, or how you can remember Baba and improve yourself. And when I give that to you, then automatically you will correct yourself. So Baba says, this is what you need to do. Sometimes you don't want to gossip, rather we don't, but the other person is doing, and we have no option to listen. You always have an option. Don't listen. Yes, just walk away from there. And even if you can't walk away, just discourage them. Can somebody just go on and on and on without you participating? No. You have to participate at least with a nod. Yes. If you just sit there with a blank face, how much will they talk? So discourage everybody from this gossip. You can discourage just by your expressions also. Blank expressions. They know you're not interested in this. Then they stop. You don't even have to say, that I'm not interested. You can show, you know how to show you're not interested without saying you're not interested, don't you? Everybody knows how to do that. You can very well communicate you're not interested. Yes. Change the topic. Don't encourage, don't nod, don't say yes, don't say yes, you're right. Don't say, if you feel you can't say you're wrong, don't say you're right either. So you don't need to object to anything, just don't participate. And it is said that a clap happens with two hands. So you don't participate, no noise. They can't talk themselves, they can't go on talking on their own without you participating. Sometimes people feel that we are obliged to, participate in this. There is no obligation. You can make your choice. I remember there was this one Mata, she said that my father is alone. So my brother doesn't live with my father, my mother died, and my father is all alone. And my father, so I have to call my father every day once and talk. And that's like a duty. And then he's very bitter. He's only talking about how many people did wrong to him all his life, and he is abusing them, and he is talking nasty about them. And she said, I'm getting anxiety attacks because of that conversation with my father every day. And then I told her, but you have to stop it. So she said, how do I stop it? So I said, tell him. So then she told him that if you only talk about this stuff, I'm not going to call you. And then he abused her badly. And she said, anyways, I will call you if you talk about something else, but I will not call you if you continue this. And then, her father, he said, but I don't have anything good to share. Nothing good happened in my life. So she said, it's okay. We will have short calls, not too much talking. And then slowly, gradually, the father stopped saying all that stuff. And it did good to him, because after 6 months when he died, he was a more peaceful person. So the daughter, she shared that she felt that when he left this body, he was a more peaceful person, and she felt that that was her contribution to her father, and she felt very happy about it. So this is why do not talk, do not gossip, do not listen to gossip. Just be disinterested, don't participate. Cut down the time of calls or talking with people who you think are talking this kind of stuff. Okay, so don't make a mistake when somebody makes a mistake, because we are world transformers. They are not. Maybe they will be tomorrow, but they are not right now. So you take the responsibility. Second is never gossip. Never talk about one person with the other person, because when people live here, then God doesn't live here. So the most depleting activity which takes you away from Baba is this gossiping about people. Because when people rent this space, then there's no space for Baba left. Okay, Om Shanti.